First item is approval of the agenda. If no additions or correction, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Sarchet?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Mordini?
Motion carries. Next item is public comments. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to address the council at this time? Hearing none or seeing none, moving on to item 5, consent agenda. I will take a motion.
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second. Questions? Roll call, please.
Mordini?
Yes.
Sarchet?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Motion carries. Call quick attention to item 12 and thank Robert Wright for his time with the library board, and following that, thank Mike Miller for stepping up to fill the open position. I think that's probably the quickest we've turned one of those around. So we now have 2 Mike Millers on the library board.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
I
I
thought
know.
Mike Miller was already gone.
Yeah, well, that was kind of became a little confusing there. So they're
Well,
going
you have a Mike A and a Mike C.
well, they can fight that out. And bottom line is,
Well, how
our library board's back.
how
to
about
full.
tall Mike and short Mike?
Okay, tall Mike and short Mike. Anyway, moving on to item 6, action item 1, consider motion to approve first reading of ordinance 2000. Hey, look, there's Mike Miller. We just, that's Mike Miller, before we approve it. Hey, Mike, thanks for filling the library board position. You're official.
There we go, now I'm official.
Yeah, good job. Yeah, you just missed your appointment. Good job. Back to item 1, consider motion to approve first reading of ordinance 2017-400, amending chapter 18, city clerk, section 18.05, publication 2, manner of publication. I know we talked about this last week. Gary, do you have anything to add?
Nothing really to add, just as a refresher to the council. The code, section 18.05, dealing with publications, does allow the city to post ordinances in 3 locations. All of this amendment does is change from the bank to the library. And as part of your packet, you'll see a red line version and then a clean version, so you can see exactly what was being done. And once we go through the 3 readings on this, we will then start the proceedings of having ordinances posted at those 3 locations.
Questions or comments?
Motion to approve ordinance 2017-400.
Second.
Roll call.
Anderson?
Yes.
Mordini?
Yes.
Sarchet?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 2, consider motion to approve resolution 2017-23, acknowledging the assignment of agreement for the tax increment development agreement between the City of Polk City, Iowa with Polk City Dental LLC. Gary?
As council may recall, Polk City has a TIF agreement, or tax increment development agreement, with Polk City Dental LLC. They have utilized this TIF with going to get additional financing, whether it's for this project or other projects that they have in Polk City. I do not know that, but they have agreed to an assignment of that with their bank. And all this does is means that we acknowledge the assignment of the agreement, the TIF agreement with Polk City Dental LLC.
Any questions from anybody? Take motion. So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Anderson?
Yes.
Mordini?
Yes.
Sarchet?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 3, consider motion to approve a contract for fiscal year 17-18 with Total Quality, for mowing and trimming services of city properties with a cost of $3,197 for each mowing cycle, along with fertilizer weed control with a cost of $15,060 for the entire season of the fertilization program. Michael, throw the floor to you.
Yes. We put this together over the last about month and a half. We updated our packets to all of our new park areas, so we're pretty up to date as of right now. And we ended up handing out 4 packets to 4 different contractors, and we received 2 back, and you see what happened here with Total Quality, low on both the mowing and the weed fertilization. And, they've worked for us for quite some time now. I don't even remember how many years, Charlie. I'm sorry about that, but yeah, there you go. So we're both in the same boat on that. But for a number of years, and Public Works hasn't had any complaints about that. So I recommend that we approve both those contracts if you see fit.
Comment I'd like to add to that is I know that we added some services this year based on working with both North Polk United and the Little League program to add some additional services out there based on their input. And so I'm hopeful that works out well because we did go to them to get their comments this year.
Right. They wanted the input and we took it and
Yep.
we included it, yes.
Absolutely. Charlie, you have anything to add?
Not at all.
Not at all.
No.
So easy to get along. Any questions, comments for anybody or take a motion?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Sarchet?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Mordini?
Motion carries.
Thank you.
You can say thank you now. Yeah. We'll say thank you too. Item 4, consider motion to approve resolution 2017-24 approving Tournament Club Townhomes Plat 2 Development Plan Preliminary Plat and Final Plat. Who's speaking to this? Kathleen?
Lucky Jerry Oliver.
Perfect. Eric?
This is here.
Thank you. I'm Jerry Oliver. I'm with Civil Engineering Consultants, 2486th Street. I'm here on behalf of Nat Properties, who is the applicant. This is an agenda item for a development plan and a preliminary plat and a final plat. And it takes place in Tournament Club Townhomes, which is the long cul-de-sac, particularly the area in red, which was formerly known as lots 15 and 16. So it was a bi-attached lot in which 2 townhomes would be built, attached in the middle, much like many of the other attached townhomes, although there are some detached townhomes as well. But this lot 15 and 16 is topographically challenged in that it does fall off relatively quickly down towards the ravine in the back. The Nat Properties has a buyer who would like to construct 1 larger unit on the property. So we are proposing to replat 2 lots into 1 lot. So this will be known as Lot 1, Tournament Club Townhomes Lot 2. That's reflective on the PUD amendment that you have, as well as the preliminary plat and the final plat as well. Planning and Zoning reviewed it here a meeting or so ago, unanimously recommended approval, and we'd be happy to answer questions.
Questions?
No, but I have a comment.
Sure.
I haven't talked to everybody up there, but I've talked to some of the neighbors that live up there, and they seem to be pleased with that, and I think that's a good idea, and it will add to the neighborhood.
Sweet. That's a rarity.
Like I said, I didn't talk to all of them.
Oh, well, I'm sure there's
Just the
doubters
happy
out there.
ones. With that being said, I'll take a motion unless there's anything else.
Motion to approve resolution 2017-24.
Second.
Roll call.
Anderson?
Yes.
Mordini?
Yes.
Sarchet?
Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
That was easy. Thank you. Item 7, Mayor's Report. A couple quick things for me. There is someone that's not here tonight that won't be back, and I just wanted to take a moment to thank her for her time and service to Polk City. Mary Beth Foster, who's been our registered freelance reporter for many, many years, has stepped down. She's taken a different job, and so she resigned her position and notified Gary and I about a week or so ago. So Mary Beth was, if she's watching, which this is probably, if not, this is the first one she's missed in a long time, but she was more than fair to Polk City, and she was a good asset as a freelance reporter, and she will be missed. As far as whether or not we'll get any support and coverage from the Register from here on out, I think it's yet to be seen.
It's hard to find reporters even close to her. She may be the last of them, actually.
I would have to agree with that comment. She was, anyway, she'll be missed, so I wanted to take a moment to thank her for all of her time here. Secondly, Gary and I did have a meeting this last week with the DART officials, as well as a couple officials from DART, our representative and Christine Hensley from Des Moines. So we're going to continue to work with them and see what options we may have moving forward as far as what this means for the 18th-month notice that we gave them. I think there'll be a long ways to get there, but we've got some time and told them that we'd be willing to continue to have those discussions. Mike, I want to thank you. I know I've already done it, but I wanted to make sure to publicly thank you and your staff for all the work that they've done out at the ball fields, particularly the gravel at south of Field 2 and the fencing and striping that they put in out there. It looks very nice. I know you guys really have taken a lot of pride in it out there, and it'll be interesting to see when we get a weekend out there and they start using it. But hopefully we've added some space, if nothing else, made it a little easier to negotiate through there. So, anyway, thank you and all your guys. I know they spend a lot of time out there, and that split rail looks really nice with everything else out there. I had a discussion with somebody here in the last week, and I want to call attention to the pet owner's responsibility and the fact that it's the weather's warmed up and there's a lot of people out walking their dogs, and apparently they, for whatever the reason, didn't get this copy and realize that they need to pick up after their pets. So I would encourage anybody who's watching and paying attention to do that, and if staff gets a chance to pass more of those out as I see them all sitting there, I would encourage that as well. And lastly, Bruce, since you're here, I want to thank you guys for getting going on the stop out there at the corner.
I just got here. I don't know what they're doing.
Okay, well, you're here. You're going to take credit for it since you're here. So anyway, I know that there was a lot of things to get there with some weather issues, some steel, some footings.
A lot of surprises.
A lot of surprises, I know.
Everything in there, from the vine to the end, has been a surprise.
Well, that's why you're in that business and I'm not. So
You'll get there.
yeah, no, it's thank you guys for getting going on it. Appreciate it. That's all I have. I will move on to Ron.
Oh, thank you. I just want to apologize for missing the last meeting, but I had a great a great time on my trip, some quality time with my grandkids, and it was 95 and 93 every day we were out there.
Whatever.
But it felt pretty good. I watched podcasts of the last meeting and some good discussion. The only thing that I think should have been added to this whole 3rd Street exchange thing is I'm afraid that with crossroads, eventually there's going to have to be some turn lanes or service roads or something down there, and I would hate to see us get stuck with the total cost of those things. But other than that, I can't disagree with anything else that was said. And also, I would like to see a work session to get together as a council and all come to some consensus about where the next projects are going to be, major projects, how we're going to proceed with them, and see if we can't get them started a year earlier or something, so we're not in the same predicament we're in now. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you. Dave's gone. Both Dave and Dan, I'm sorry, had something come up and apologize for not being here tonight. Mr. Mordini.
Nothing, Your Honor.
Mr. Sargent.
Just a couple quick things. The ribbon cutting at the square next Thursday.
That's right.
Looking forward to getting that officially open. Big step, and hopefully a few more steps to get making the square that much better than it already is. Thursday, right?
Yep. 3:30.
I don't know. Thank Gary for identifying the. I mean, you can get this right. The complete count committee. That hopefully will fall under the neighborhood citizens group. I think. Well, I shouldn't say it. Had the foresight to identify things like that would come up, but hopefully now that we have that group, can utilize them in that capacity, and we'll see how that goes. So that's all I have.
Council discussion, I'll add something real quick to 3rd Street and the fact that our work session that we had for 5:30 tonight regarding Broadway and 3rd, just to publicly state, it's been moved 2 weeks from tonight due to a conflict at the county site. So we'll have that meeting 5:30 in 2 weeks. Mr. Mahana.
Thank you, Mayor. I've got a few things to go over. The U.S. Census has begun the 2020 census work. They actually haven't started counting people, but putting together the essential maps, what they call base maps. Luckily, Polk City has shape files, maps, and that type of thing. And we've set up a core team of Lindsay, Jake, and myself. This core team is to make sure that we get everybody counted. And to tell you how important this count is, for every single person that's counted, just in road use tax alone, is roughly $110 a year. You start having 100 people that are missed, and that's a lot of money that we no longer have. So I'm telling you that city staff is taking this very seriously, and we'll be reporting back. But we'll be doing some training from the Census Bureau on this, and as more is learned, we will get back to you with that. My item next is Morning Star Drive. The bridge there will be closing next Monday. That's April 3. It will be work being done on the bridge, and the bridge is expected to open late November 17. And I know a lot of people take Morning Star Drive into the downtown area. So I just want you to know that that road will be closed next Monday. Severe Weather Week is this week. If you haven't heard it, I'm not going to go through everything that's going on, but the day that is the most, all of the days are important, but the days that you're going to know it because you're going to hear it in your ears is Wednesday, March 29th. That is when we actually will do the statewide tornado drill. The tornado drill, there will be severe weather issued, and then at 10 o'clock there'll be the test tornado issued, and at 10:30 it will be issued throughout the state with all sirens going off, and at 11 o'clock the watch will be canceled and the test will have concluded. If, as you came in, you probably saw a box over there at the entrance. That is from the WRA, and we're going to try to win a bench. The bench is received by the community on a per capita basis that brings in the most plastic bags and that are turned over to the WRA, the Metro Waste Authority. If I said WRA the first time, I meant Metro Waste Authority. I said on the WRA.
They're trying to figure out how WRA had anything to do with plastic bags.
Well, it's, I could make some, never mind. Metro Waste Authority. And those people that bring in bags will receive a recyclable bag that is one of those little green tote bags. And as this thing gets filled, we'll be turning around and having the Metro Waste Authority folks pick it up. And the community that has the most weight per capita will win a free park bench. I expect everybody to come to the council meetings with gobs of bags for there. Davis Street is my last item. Kathleen passed out a memo. She's going to go more into depth on the Davis Street reconstruction project. But please note that Wednesday, April 12th, will be a public information meeting where we're going to try to get as much information as the people that are coming to it. It'll be at the community building from 6 to 7 p.m. We want to find out some of the problems that the residents along there have been encountering. This may be drainage issues. It may be how we're going to be staging the road during construction. A lot of things are learned at these meetings, and we find them very useful. If council has the time that evening, staff will be there. Engineering staff will be there, and hopefully we gain a lot of information, and the people that come also gain a lot of information on this project. With that, Mayor, that's all I have. Sorry, I took it.
Sorry.
Gary, did you say 8th of April?
12.
April 12th.
Are you going to touch on this, on your stuff? Is this just a come and go thing?
Huh?
This just an open house, come and go,
Yeah.
no
Yep.
formal presentation? Okay.
That's right.
All right. Attorney's report,
Nothing, Your Honor.
engineer's report.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, as far as the public, we'll do this similar to what we've done in the past. We'll have aerial photos. We won't have the design done, but we'll have the proposed street location shaded in gray and sidewalk locations and that kind of thing. And typically, property owners will tell us like where their sump service is, if they have one, or if they don't have one, where they would want it connected. You know, if they have any flower beds out there or any of those specific property-related issues as well. And then obviously, how access to their property will be maintained during the course of construction. Then we're going to be survey with work was to be completed either today or tomorrow. I didn't get a chance to talk to them this afternoon to find out if they actually completed it today, but if not, they'll be wrapping it up tomorrow. So we're actually a little ahead of schedule on that, and shooting to have preliminary plans ready after we've gathered the information at the public informational meeting on first part of May, early, I think it's May 1st even, that we'll be sending those plans over to Mid-American Energy, and they will get started with their plans for relocating utilities.
Mike, I know you and I've talked on this, and you've already talked to a couple of people up there, and we're making sure word gets out, and because I know you've had some people that have shown some interest in things that are going on, so
Right.
a lot of interested parties up there, I think.
Oh, yeah. The letters are going out to each address, and
Yep.
and
We'll
the
be-
canvas is even up the streets a little bit from there, too.
Yeah, and
so-
those will be sending out either tomorrow or Wednesday, so that folks have plenty of advance notice. We don't want to give them too much so that they forget, so
Yeah.
we said we'll probably send them out Tuesday or Wednesday.
Could we maybe even expand that a little bit further, just knowing, like, having lived on Roosevelt in the past, Roosevelt, Adams, Lincoln, a lot of those folks that come in off of Third through Davis, if they're included, but just
Yeah,
look
we
at it
can,
from an arterial perspective to some of the other houses that drive through Davis that may not be within that initial radius.
yeah, and I know we were going to go a little bit farther. Is there a
Okay.
particular section that you were concerned about?
Just those streets that I talked about
Okay.
there.
Are you talking for the planning purposes, like the people that are along the corridor, or like informational later when it's ready to go?
Right.
We could,
And that might, yeah, I mean, it might make more sense maybe to do it with the next meeting when we're gonna, then we'll
Okay.
have the stages.
You guys got it.
Because right now, this is more of an informational gathering meeting
Okay.
about the particular properties that the project abuts.
The homeowner is all along.
Sorry, I
Right.
misunderstood.
But I-
that
there's-
comment's taken, Robin. We'll make sure we get some more information around the corner there for what you're.
Yeah, that meeting, we're anticipating May 10th
Okay.
is, I mean, we'll work out the exact date based on availability of City Hall and that kind of, in the community room. But that one will be the one where, again, we'll be having more answers as opposed to asking the questions. So,
Perfect, thank you.
Mhm. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Jake?
Just wanted to touch on a couple of projects that have come to a close recently.
I'll come back to you.
Yeah, caught me off guard there too. I was like,
Look, hey, just, you know,
the website and social media administration policy has been something that my department has been working on for quite some time now. It is meant to give department heads a starting point when it comes to the creation and use of city-affiliated social media and websites, social media accounts and websites. It also defines criteria for account creation, establishes a chain of command for city accounts, and provides a resource for departments to reference for handling city communications. In addition to this, once we have coordinated with all the current account holders, this policy will allow the city to push out a unified message. This would be used on something like severe weather alert, something that we can reach as many constituents as we possibly can through all available means. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank the departments that helped me refine this policy. With a special thankful to Jeremy Sitzer of the police department, as well as
Chris Bashar of the fire department for their input. Second is, last week we finished up the City Hall security camera and conference room presentation monitor install. The security system has 2 cameras installed, one in the front office and one in the rear office. It has the capability to be scaled to twice its current size, to a total of 4 cameras if we decide to expand in the future. Posted a link to this is the City Hall conference room presentation monitor. The conference room now has a 50-inch presentation monitor that can show a live feed of the cameras, as well as wirelessly sync to a designated 2-in-1 PC tablet for staff or external user presentations. Staff were able to utilize this monitor for the first time last Monday, and it's expected to be used frequently among city staff, developers, and the general meetings like going forward. Final thing, as Gary mentioned, we have a LUBA coming up, a local update of census address program from the U.S. Census. I just wanted to add that we are already off to what I would consider a pretty good start with the recent completion of the city's 2017 boundary and annexation survey, which reflects our city's boundaries and street updates within this past year, which I think we can all agree we had quite a few of those within the last year or so. And that's basically all I had for tonight. Any questions?
I just comment, Jake, nice work, especially on that social media thing. As we learned a couple years ago, social media has its good sides and its bad sides, and I appreciate you guys stepping up and working through that. Finance. Oh, I gotta come back to you. Darn it. Don't take it personal, Mike. Jeez. Cutting your budget.
For me,
Yeah.
the only thing I have tonight is don't know if you noticed in your finance report, but our rate has changed on our checking account and our money market at Grinnell State Bank. I renegotiated our rates there, and they changed from 5 basis points to 60 basis points. And based on our daily balances, I think we'll see an increase between $12,000 and $15,000. And they also lowered our service charges. They want to keep our business.
Or you're just a good negotiator.
Maybe that's it.
Nice work out of you. Wow.
Jason?
Yeah.
I do have one question.
Yeah.
Great work, first off. Second off, have we ever looked at the other bank in town here? Is there a reason we went to one, or did we ever compare them?
I actually talked to them. They want to get our business, I believe, but they have not called me back after I told them the services that we would need for them to be able to provide.
All right. Thanks.
But you gave them the opportunity.
Yes.
Just wanted to emphasize that part of it.
Mike? Nothing? Okay, just thought I'd give you one more chance. Fire department.
The only thing I have is, I think it's, number 5 on the consent agenda. Just want to publicly thank Captain Bush. It's always bittersweet, but he's been with us for 5 or 6 years, works his way to captain, strong leader for the department. He accepted a full-time job in Denver, so South Metro Fire Department. So we lost another good one, but so just want to publicly thank him. So he's off, he moved already, he's gone.
Wow.
So still not quite ready to accept it, but anyway, that's all I have.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't want to steal your thunder on that, assuming that it was brought up, but I think it's something that needs to be acknowledged how unique this department is, and seeing Dave as another example, thinking back to, it's hard for me to imagine that I was that young as when he started to the point that he got to be a captain, and now to see, I think it's safe to say, a dream realized as a full-time firefighter and paramedic. So it was a joy to watch, and I know Dan's a proud papa back there, but it is bittersweet that we lost him because he had a lot. But again, I think a testament to what Dan and the other leaders of the fire department do to allow something like that to happen, and it will be, like I said, a gap to fill, but really neat to be a part of as well.
Well put. Police department. Your first night sitting here and you have nothing.
I did want to add something more on the police department here. I know it's not in our area, but I saw again on the news today, not the mainstream news, but since the mainstream news doesn't normally cover these things, since it doesn't fit their agenda, you can read between the lines all you wish on that. Let's see, we had another officer killed in Atlanta, and just for those that don't pay any attention to that kind of thing and don't do their digging, since, again, it doesn't fit particular people's agenda to report it, that happens more often than not, and so everybody at home, when you see the police, please tell them, thanks for what you do, because sometimes it can be too late. So.
Well, since you're giving out attaboys, I'll just, even though he's not here, we had a meeting this last week and with a couple of key players in Polk County, and not only at Polk County, but with Mayor Vankeny as well. And you guys have done a really good job turning this department around, and we got some pretty good compliments from some people. And where at one point in time we had boundaries, apparently those boundaries have, apparently our wall's been torn down. So you guys are doing a great job, and it's being recognized not only here locally, but it's being recognized outside. I mean, fire department, obviously you guys too, but I just, there was some work that needed to be done, and you guys have done a great job, and I thank you for it. So it's nice to hear that from others when we're out and about, Library report. Mike, you got anything?
I do not. First meeting.
Thought I
Been doing a
checked.
job for 20 minutes now.
Yeah, thought I checked.
You skipped over other departments. So you can thank you.
I gave him 3 different chances this week. Neighborhood Citizens Group, nobody here. I'll take a motion.
First, I have one thing to
Yes.
add. I should have brought it up earlier, and want to thank Mike for the job they've done out there on the parking lot at the sports complex. I was out there this morning, and looks great. I think it was going to help a lot. I don't. Maybe people will be there long enough for people to get the idea. So thank you. It looks real nice.
Good.
And I would make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nice segue.